In today's video we will see another example of how pitchforks can work in a symmetrical way if we truly understand how they work. I will once again eliminate the rest of the analysis and focus just on the analysis of the lines themselves. This scenario happened in the US dollar versus the Japanese yen in the daily chart, so without further ado let's begin the analysis. In this first moment of price action, we can clearly see a low followed by a high, and what seems to be the next major low of this market. When we have three alternating market extremes like this, we can draw pitchforks with the goal of helping us see certain lines and angles that cannot be seen in any other way. Here we can draw two preliminary forks. One standard and one modified. The simple combination of these two types of pitchforks usually gives us a nice interpretive frame for what might happen next, so let's fast forward price action to see how price interacts with these new lines. For those who pay close attention to a price chart, there are a few interesting details happening at this point. Starting with the blue pitchfork, we can see that price touches its center line exactly, and then seems to drift away. With the red pitchfork the pattern is a little more subtle because price fails to meet its upper line, but the interesting thing is that there is a pattern built in the way price is failing to reach that line. Observe that price fails to reach that line 2 times, but it seems to be doing that respecting the angle of the red pitchfork. This is part of what we call a frequency shift in the Newtonian trading strategy. If we create a line connecting these two failure points with the same angle of the red fork, we can project a possible third failure point. Notice that if you wanted to go short in this situation, there is a clear case to be made at the time price hit the center line of the blue pitchfork. That would be the first entry. The subtler situation with the red pitchfork is related to the secondary entries you could find. Let's fast forward a little bit more to see what price does. Price ends up touching the shift in frequency and failing for a third time. Right after that price finally begins to drop, and this is the type to update the major standard pitchfork to the downside. In this situation the third failure point related to the red pitchfork is perhaps more, or at least as important as the absolute high pinpointed by the center line of the blue fork, so we can ground the third axis of the new blue fork in the third failure point. This new blue fork implies a downtrend, so we can make use of the red modified fork to find points of intersection between the two forks in the future. We can do that by updating the red fork to the new price extremes, and then by extrapolating the fork to the downside. By observing price carefully, we can see that there are a few points where the extrapolated red lines intersect with the blue lines. Keep in mind also that both forks produce exhausting lines, and not the counterpoint between exhausting and reversal lines that we aim to find in double intersections. One of the intersection points creates a bit of confusion, but if you were willing to trade that to the downside and if you had the right stop-loss order, you could get away with it rather easily. The two other intersection points show price reversing quite nicely as you can see in the other green rectangles highlighted in the chart. If you wish to learn more about the fractal flow methods, visit the strategy store link available in the video description. If you want to support the channel, please click the like button, subscribe to the channel, activate the notifications button so you don't miss future uploads, and leave your comment below. Thank you for watching.